Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? I have learned in the past that you miss me when I'm not here. Happy New Year, everybody. And we're going to have fun today. We are still the only company in the world doing the hardest things, which is telling people the truth about why markets move the way they move and when they move. And one of the ways that we convince people is to give them the signals in advance, to tell them days in advance when the market is likely to go up or down and in what direction at what time. So these are essentially roadmaps, bus schedules of what is likely to occur. Okay, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that, specifically what happened at those times today as we sort of get a little deeper into the program here. The way we convince people that our worldview is correct, and our worldview is very simple. Earl, you know this. I believe that time is the most important factor of all when it comes to markets and to trading. Timing is everything. Well, for us, it really is. And we believe that markets move at predictable leading times in the future that we can sit, wait for, anticipate. And that's a lot to drop on somebody, right? That's a lot to dump on someone who's never seen this or heard of this before, has no clue what is going on. And so most of us were, especially in the beginning phases of our career, right? Most of us were trained to believe that you had to follow along and react, watch the volume, watch a moving average, watch the pivot levels, the floor trader pivots, watch order flow, and then we kind of searched for a more and more complicated, sophisticated tool, spent more and more money with more eloquent gurus and vendors with British accents because he must know what he's talking about. He's British. And nicer and nicer websites, only to come full circle back to this idea of, I think the markets are rigged. I want to show you some stuff that I've been working on and some templates that I post from every week, and focus predominantly on the Warp program. This is my chart for Apple. A lot of our customers now are focused on options and equities, and so what our chart shows here is, in essence, that timing map that I told you guys about earlier. And on the right-hand side of the chart, you're going to see the most recent signal was December 27th, telling us to watch for selling pressure on Apple. The next selling pressure signal is January 19th. And then right here, you'll see that white dot, and there's a white line underneath there as well. And that's sort of warning us that the buying should resume on the 11th and then again on February 5th. And so when we look back historically at what happened at the times that we were waiting for, with the exception of about two of these signals, more often than not, what ends up happening, May 25th until June 20th, July 6th until July 26th, August 14th until September 5th, September 22nd until October 6th. Then we had this craziness here. Stop out November 6th until November 21st. And then this little blurb up right here. Almost every one of these moves, with the exception of one, if you're a trader with calls and puts and all that fun stuff, is moving in that direction. We can see that over a fairly broad period of time, these signals are pretty reliable. And before I left you guys, one of the times that I warned everybody about, I said Apple was going to rise from December 12th until December 27th. And then what were we expecting? The market to fall. Until when? Until the 11th. Until the 11th. And so this drop here was not only predicted, it's been followed through on. So once it starts to follow through, we now have this window, right, of time that's telling us it's okay. There's more. This is not the end. One market where that's really predominant is NVIDIA, the little engine that could, the gift that keeps on giving. And before I went on break, I'm still on break for a couple more days here through tomorrow, but I told everybody the signals would rise on NVIDIA from December 11th until December 28th. And here it's kind of cool because you can actually see there was a little bit of a trend line there. So on December 28th, if you had changed from calls to puts and looked for those opportunities to sell those options, it fell from basically 500 down to $475. And the next time that I'm anticipating it to go up at the earliest would be January 8th. On the outside would be January 26th. So January 26th is that next point with NVIDIA where we're proactively expecting another one of these buying signals. Now, who's doing this buying? Who do you think, Charlie? Who's doing all this buying? Enough buying that the market goes up. Is it you? Is it me? Is it Earl? Is it Bob? Or is it JP Morgan, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank? It feels like we're seeing something we're not supposed to see, right? SPY is a great example of that. This is a chart that I post regularly into about a half a dozen Facebook pages. And if we had the time, I could go back and show you historically, week after week after week for the last 6 months or more, I have been posting these exact signals that you'll see here. And so the last time we were looking at SPY, I had warned everybody that we were going to see prices rise from October 23rd until November 21st. And then I expected either a down move or consolidation into December 6th. And then I had the audacity, Ian, to tell people, I think it's going to minimally go to this level, predicting that on the 6th, when prices were at 450, that we would get to 467, but that more likely than not, we were going to get to somewhere between 472 and 475. The highest likelihood was here, and then there was an off chance that we'd get up this high before what? January 2nd. Now, what was anticipated to happen on January 2nd in SPY? Either more of this consolidation or a down move. And you can see right here, New Year, traders come in, boom. And everyone online is screaming, why? Why did it fall? What happened? What's going on? What can we blame? It was time. It was time. It was simply time. You didn't get the memo. If you're not paying attention, watching this video later on YouTube, you didn't get the memo. Now, here's a fun fact. If we take the consolidation size from the November 21st window and we extend that over to here, we're at the bottom of this right now. So one thing I'd be watching for if you're an SPY trader is a close below this low right here. What is that, 466, 67 area? If it closes underneath today's low, ooh, then the uptrend is over and this thing is going to fall all the way down to the moving average, which is kind of nutso if you think about it. Let's take a look at another market that I warned you about. My favorite one to watch, NASDAQ. And so before we went on vacation, one of the very last things I warned you guys about, and I told you how far I thought it was going to go. The NQ was going to hit somewhere near the top of these triangles before January 2nd. And you can see, right up here, 7228, 730 something, somewhere up in this area, 17140-ish area. And then we're dropping off and falling off the cliff again. And people are screaming, why? Why? Because it was time. When's the next signal? January 11th. Well, why are they waiting till January 11th? What about the reports? What about Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell? What about the Epstein things? What about the Middle East? What about Israel? What about any of it? How did any of that affect the fact that I told you these things would happen? And on the NQ, look at what happened at every one of the moments that we were warned about in advance. I'm going back pretty far here, guys. These are signals I've been showing you for over a year. What happens most of the time when we get to the signal that we're waiting for something to happen? Right? Let's keep going back. What percentage of the time are blue dots near highs and white dots near lows? Gosh, it seems like an awful high percentage, doesn't it? And yet, I'm the one that they make fun of when I write my posts on social media. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. If we look at the euro US dollar over on daily time frame, I think I got it somewhere here. Bitcoin, XLE, FTX, Tesla. I do have, I think it's right next to it. Yes. I warned everyone on December 15th that the euro was rising higher, probably into a higher high. And here you can see, we came up, candle pulled back, shot straight up into a higher high, and now selling pressure on January 4th. What generally happens at a selling pressure signal on the euro US dollar using the TachEon Warp software? What would you say generally happens? Goes down. That's right. So we can then start to look on a 60-minute time frame. And here's where life gets really relevant for most of you watching this. We can look at larger time frames, but most of you aren't big heavy hitters. You're down in the apex trenches trying to qualify for a funded account and get your payouts. And so you're down on a 60, a 15, a 5, a 3, a 1 minute chart. Well, the good news is that we can do those analyses on those lower time frames as well. But if I'm a Euro USD trader and I see that big 60-minute sell signal coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern tonight and 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe I risk a few pips to see if it's going to drop like it did 3 o'clock in the morning on December 31st. Interesting. We can take a look at other markets. One in particular is Netflix. Netflix on a daily time frame. I was looking at this with a guy named Charlie earlier today. This is a 714 swing strength 8 standard default value on Netflix. Those of you that trade options, what are we looking at here? We can take a look at this chart and we can see where are the times that things are expected. I can then split these signals into thirds. And Ian, can you see what happens when we get to those retracements in time? I now expect Netflix to go higher until January 12th, right? Or at least come back and retest the high somewhere near 490, 493. And if I look and slide the chart over, we're the only company in the world where you can see the signals coming up in the future. Nobody else can do that because nobody else believes what we believe, that markets are rigged and these times are important. These times are very important. We're going to go take a look at one chart, which I think is really weird. Doesn't have anything to do with the software I'm showing you here today. This is Tesla. Now, Tesla, man, it's just a weird moment in history where a billionaire has the government by the cojones because he's the only contractor who can put astronauts and military satellites into space reliably. Can you imagine? Can you imagine all the people he's made angry and they can't do anything? Not because he's a billionaire, but because he's the only person on Earth who can reliably put a satellite or a space plane into orbit for the military complex. It's interesting, right? I think it's a really fascinating time. And if I'm Boeing or Northrop Grumman or any of these other companies, I'm sure there's a phone call every day. Did you get it working yet? If I'm the government contractor in charge, contract department in charge of getting Jeff Bezos' company off the ground, I would be pushing him every day. Get off the yacht, back to the office. We need an option. Well, here's something really interesting about this chart. Larry, what tends to happen at the red dot signals in Tesla? What tends to happen at the green dot signals? All right. Price tends to go up and down near them. I've had these charts, these lines drawing for a really long time. You guys saw before the break that the last signal was scheduled for January 2nd. Cybertrucks are out there. Rumors of a new low cost consumer $25,000 car. And yet Tesla opened at $250 and it fell so far to a low of $236. And the bleeding doesn't stop until January 12th. Well, why would I care? Because of what happened December 15th and what happened on December 4th and what happened on November 21st and so on. The further back I go, the more I see how relevant the predictive signals were. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Yeah, but you don't know about the Tesla bot and Boring Company, and there's chimpanzees with. All right. So these are sort of some big picture, higher signals that we're looking at. Earl, we're still following that gold strategy that I showed you guys in the pro room week before last about. The lunar signals are still inverted. You can see where the neckline is and where things are expected to go. We're dropping now for 7 more days until the next green signal, which will be over here. So 7 days from now, on the 11th, we should see gold push up. I would be surprised if it didn't kind of come down here and then push up right here and then come down at the next predictive signal over here somewhere. That would be my guess. Let's leave those lines on the workspace. I'll actually save them so we can see if I'm right or not. Save. Yes. Any questions about any of these markets that we're looking at? I had a guy on Facebook tell me that FedEx was going to go up, 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 and everybody needed to buy, 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 buy. And I said on a weekly chart, that's not the case. I said FedEx has a sell signal from December 8th until Friday, January, February, March, April 5th on a weekly chart. And you can see here the reliability of those signals. All right, we can see when the FedEx party came to an end initially right here when we hit the white stop line. That was the first warning that people were no longer excited about FedEx and they were pulling out those JP Morgan shares. So a lot of ways that we can use this. Let me just look at one last chart while we're here. This is Bitcoin on a daily chart. How many of you have started paying attention to Bitcoin as an appreciating asset? Anybody? Now, if you're using the software as a customer, I want you to know that this one has a weird setting. 714.00, swing strength 8. But Ian, look, It's trading days instead of calendar days. Don't ask me because I don't know. If you change it to trading days, 714, swing strength 8. Before we left, what did I tell you the signal was? January 3rd. The closing price of the January 3rd signal is somewhere over here. And it's supposed to go up until when? January 9th. What happens at every one of these signals with the 714.00 trading days? It's a little bananas, isn't it? So we expect Bitcoin to rise now until when? January 9th. Is there any way to know what price it's likely to rise to? Sure. Let's look and measure how far Bitcoin went at each one of the times that the institutions pushed the market. Because the government's in here now. The banks are in here now. It was fun when the nerds were ruling the universe for a while. But now this is a big boy game, and manipulation is real. And so I had a friend, he was farming Bitcoin in his shed behind his house, probably laughing at me hard as you can laugh right now because I told him he was being silly. Probably drives a Bugatti to Walmart now. He's a Walmart guy. Last laugh, right? But if we look here, Ian, I'm just measuring how far each one of the signals went from the low of its candle. And then I'm just going to harvest those like blueberries. And I'm going to get a picture of how far banks usually push when they push. All right, I'm thinking about releasing this as an update to the software, something we can see in real time, right? Without having to draw. And so if I put these triangles all near the low of that candle, Ian, take a look. I can kind of put a collection of points on here. So minimally at the close of this candle, I could have predictively anticipated Bitcoin to rise at least $1,500. And then somewhere around $1,900 for those first two lines. Where's the next line? Over here. That would be almost double the $3,100 gain on or before the 9th. So when we're using predictive tools, there's a confidence now where you're not shooting blindly into the dark. You're not shooting blindly into the dark. You have an idea based on an assessment, a true assessment of what markets really are. And so in that real sense, if it's based on time, we have an edge that no one else has. So in this first view, banks run the world and rule the universe and follow a plan which is usually based on doing the opposite of what they tell everyone else. That's my worldview. Does anyone else have that worldview? Anyone else here today believe that? Because here's how 98% of people trade. The markets are random, and the best shot I have is to follow along in real time with some kind of lagging tool or guru to help me as I slowly bleed out cash over time. These are kind of the worldviews. You're in one camp or the other. You're kind of not in both ever. So this guy over here, He looks at RSI. He looks at order flow. He looks at VWAP. He looks at floor trader pivot points. What else? Looks at support and resistance levels, looks at structure, and basically guessing. Yep, volume profile is another one a lot of these guys look at. And none of these things are wrong, right? They're not horrible things. They have value, but they can't be the primary. And over here, when will JP Morgan cause the E-mini NASDAQ to go up tomorrow? This is my worldview. And there's a way to validate it. There's a way to verify if what I'm telling you is true or not, in a way that I think is pretty miraculous, actually. I think it's pretty miraculous. Anyway, let me show you why I think it's miraculous. Maybe you'll believe me, maybe you won't believe me. So over here, we're going to go back to the post. Back to the post. And these were put up before 9:45, 9:58. Let me just verify something. 9:45. Indicators. Yep, that's why it's not right. Templates load. Oh, this is going to be a big difference. Big difference. Okay. So 2 days ago, we posted this time map for the E-mini NASDAQ. All the blue lines were the times where we were expecting selling pressure. All the white times were the times where we were expecting buying pressure. And now when we come back 2 days later, all right, I want you to look and see what's happening at the signal times. So here's the miracle of what we do. Why should I believe this? Why should I trust it when I'm using it? Because one of the times that we were waiting for a move up was at 9:50. One of the times that we were waiting for a move down was at 10:03. One of the times we were waiting for a move up was at 10:08, at 10:29, at 10:41, and at 10:58, and at 11:16 on our way to lunchtime. Okay, on the way down, below the 120 period moving average, we're waiting for a selling signal at 6:54, at 7:33, 7:48, 7:59, 8:11, 8:40, and 8:56. 9:31, we're off from the high by 2 minutes at the open. And look what happens in the afternoon. One of the last signals was at 3:49. Woohoo! Most of you don't trade the NASDAQ though. You trade this guy, the E-mini S&P, the monster, La Monstra, Godzilla. So now let me ask you this question. Let's go back. And 2 days ago, we posted the map for today based on time, 5-minute E-mini S&P chart. 225, 350, 450, 550, 620, 705, 1010, 1035, 1120, 1140, 115, 1120, 1140, 115. And when we come and look at what happened at those times, we have an uncomfortable answer to our question. Did the market go down at 240, at 450 rather? Did the market go down at 620? Did the market go down at 8 o'clock? Did the market go up at 550? And did it go up at 705? Do you see why this is weird? Which one of the worldviews holds water? Banks run the world and the universe and follow a plan which is based on doing the opposite of what they tell us. And we can know when JP Morgan will cause the E-mini S&P to go up or down tomorrow. I gave you times 2 days ago. Here we are. Oh! Did it go down at 1140? Did it go down at 305? Right? We're just picking the low-hanging fruit here. How about up at 1010? How about down at 935? It closes here and it falls and it comes up and it falls again and it comes up and it falls again. Right up to the next signal at 1010. There's a failure at 1120. Right? You actually lose money there. And then at 115, it comes down. And now 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. 1 hour later, you have a chance to get out at break even because it's not going up. Bob, I always draw the fib extension from blue to white. So the way I have mine constructed, 0 is neutral, 100 is neutral, 33 is green or white, 66 is red or blue. And I always draw from sell to buy with those settings. And so if I was looking for a short, drawing those splits, Bob, I would have a sell at the 150 signal and a buy at the 230 signal. Sammy, when we do the webinars on Thursdays, the settings that I use are always 71400 swing strength 8. So they're going to look a little different than yours. I would, if I were you, I would look at changing them over to 8 just to match up with us. You get fewer signals, but a little bit of a cleaner chart. 71421 with a swing strength 5, you're going to have a blank ton of signals, a bunch of them. You have a small swing strength and a large data series. So you're going to see a lot more signals than I see. So here's the really cool part about the software. I already have the times for tomorrow. And no one else can do this. Well, why would we pay attention to these times tomorrow? Why would we look for a short at 6:35 and 10 o'clock and 1:15 and 1:10? Why would we look for a short at a long at 8:35, 11:55, 2:35, and 5:35 Eastern? Because of what has been happening at those times historically. The further we go back, the more we see these signals don't repaint. They don't disappear and reappear. And when we look at what's been happening at the times that the program has been warning us that an algorithm is about to fire off, right? You can see the blue dots are mostly near the highs and the white dots are mostly near what? The lows. And before you poo-poo some of those retracements, you can see here, whoops. Come on, Lydick, get your life together. That's a $300 move. And so the ES is pretty consistent in that. So Sammy asks, should I keep that? How do I set my settings up? It's really confusing on what to stick with. If you stick with what I've got here, Sammy, you're going to do well over time. 714.8 is the setting I've been using for years and years and years. 15 almost right now. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter. I'll show you what I mean by it doesn't matter. Watch this. So I'm going to pick values between 5 and 10. Ready, Sammy? Generate. So swing strength 5. Let's come back. Calendar days, depends on what number we get next. 7. Generate 9. So because we have a 9, it's a non-7 day. I'm going to go to trading days. And Sammy, just to be redonkulous, let's click one more. 5. So Sammy, I just picked 4 random numbers. Now watch. Charlie, is that a horrible chart? I think the one we had was a little better. But could you have made money with this chart? Uh-huh. If I go back and look at yesterday, there's the high. There's the pullback at 325. There's the sell-off at 845 and 1025. So you can almost use random numbers in the settings, Sammy. I'll show you one other variant of this that'll blow your noggin. The simplest signal that you can use is a 1. Go back and look at what happened yesterday with a swing strength of 5. That's a 1000. Trading days, swing strength 5. Sammy, come on. That's a 100. And so just using the bare minimum, just looking at what happened the day before, you see it's as relevant as anything. So don't focus on the settings, focus on the system, your risk, your reward. You're still going to see the times in advance. There's a veritable cornucopia, a virtual plethora of available options for you to choose from. The time tested and true setting is the 714. That one has been working for 15 years. The swing strength controls the number of moves that you see. So let's go ahead and load that back. So Sammy, the lower the swing strength, the more signals you see. If we go to an absurd level like a 3, we're telling the computer to look at swings historically that had a 3 or greater. That's a lot of signals, Sam. If I go in the other direction, we change it from 8 to 16. There's half as many signals, but the moves are twice as far. The swing strength is your volume knob. The swing strength is your volume knob. So if you have a swing strength of 5 with a 714, there's a few more signals on here than you need. I think the chart is too cloudy. So I would say switch to an 8 and you're fine. Also, Sammy, you're going to want to turn your patterns on where it says show signal dots only. Uncheck that, and now you can see your pattern 5s and 4s. And now a whole new universe opens up. Yeah. What are we talking? Any questions about this so far? On a daily time frame for the E-mini S&P, the signal I warned you about before vacation was a short. When? December 22nd. Right here. The banks performed what's known as a liquidity event or a stop run. Right here. They lured what's known as stupid money into a false trend breakout. We had a higher high, probably lower divergence, volume, all that fun stuff down here, and now we're falling until January 11th. How far are we going to fall, Ian? How far do you think we might fall? Well, let's measure all of the moves historically where the banks have pushed prices lower. And you'll start to feel really comfortable with the fact that this is predictive. Right? No measure here. This is a very small move down here. Very small move down here. Very small move down here. And then a relatively medium move down here and here from sell to buy, basically. So now, Ian, watch. I can come up here and start to get a feel for how far they'll push down. Again, what are their intentions? How much gusto do they have here? So all I've done is measure how far they moved at each one of the selling signals in the past. Oh, I forgot a little guy right there. Get up there, guy. And now, Earl, look. You see where the levels are. All right, we'll draw some lines. There's one here, 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 and then here and here. Huh. So we're sort of in the median right now. You have most of the signals in the middle. There's a minimum, a median, and a maximum. And the maximum on the ES is somewhere around a retest of this low by January 11th. And we've almost tested this triangle right there, which is at 47.23 quarter. Pattern 6 and 7 are programmed, sure. They're in there. See? They're in there, Bob. They're just rare. 6s and 7s are rare. You'll see 4s and 5s about 20 to 25% of the time. Yeah, Sammy, we have mentoring opportunities in the Resource Center. You can book appointments with me, with Ron, with Charlie, with Dorian. There's a number of people there. It's totally worth your time and investment. There's also a ton of training videos, basic training videos in the video training archive that you can go through. So that's how I approach this. That really is what I'm looking at. I'm predominantly watching for signals with trend. The next signal on the 11th, I can do the exact same thing in reverse. But those are the settings on the chart that I'm watching right now, and that's what I'm looking for in real time. Any questions about that? This works on other markets too. We can look at Ethereum, for example. We put the times out for that. We also had them up there for Bitcoin, BTC, USD on a 5-minute chart. These were the times that we posted for Bitcoin on a 5-minute chart today. And so if you're trading the way that I teach in the videos and in the webinars each week, you buy at 635, you exit at 7:30. Here, ready? We'll go through it. 120 period moving average is rising. We buy and we exit. 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 We buy and exit. Buy and exit. And at the close of this 455 candle, we buy. Bala, what does that mean, an updated template? It's literally 714.00 swing strength 8. Some XML thing. There you go. Not a problem. I know what I realized what you were asking for right after. Sorry about that. No, you're welcome. And so here's the cool part about Bitcoin on a 5-minute chart. Look, there are the signals coming up to the right. That's London. That's Asia. Asia, London, US. The times never paint, repaint, disappear, reappear, shift. They will be here. They are always here. They were always here. And I have them waiting for me in the future. And you could have had them today. You could trade Bitcoin futures, BTC MAR24, right? Look. Buy at the buy signal, sell at the sell signal in the direction of the trend. Well, when's it going to go up next? 10:05 Eastern, midnight 35, 2:35 Eastern, 4:20 a.m. Eastern, 6:05, 7:50, 9:30, 11:25, and 12 o'clock. Well, I don't, it's very volatile. Well, trade micro Bitcoin. Whatever the instrument is. I think it's micro Bitcoins. There it is, MBT. Could you trade that with a micro lot, Ian? Daily goes back on Kinetic 10 years, Larry, I believe. End of day, which is free for Ninjatrader. Yeah, with Kinetic, you can go back even further. They're a pretty good data source. A lot of companies limit how far back you can go, which is crazy. I don't understand that. So when I look at this chart, just kind of winding up here, what do I see? What can I infer? I know from trading historically that it's almost impossible to get signals that print on the actual pivots, meaning a red signal at the exact high, a green signal at the exact low. I learned over 15 years, when you see signals that are too good to be true, it usually means that someone drew them in by hand, or they repainted, or they appeared 10 bars later. I'm showing everyone signals that we knew about 2 days ago. And when we get to 10:30, it's the high. When we get to 11:30, it's the pullback and goes higher. 120 goes higher. 305, it goes higher. The signals here were known about before the high and lows and breakouts were put in place. And so that sort of validates what I'm trying to tell you. Which worldview do you have? I'm going to sit here all day with these other things that somebody told me. I'm going to journal. I'm going to journal today. Dear journal, lost more money today. Just like the other 50,000 entries. Something's going to change soon. I can feel it. Read a Tony Robbins book. See you tomorrow. Dear journal, I blew up 10 more Apex accounts today. Got a good feeling about the next 10 though. Really going to buckle down. Dear journal, I followed my trading plan today. I sat here at the end of the market and I wrote down the times that I'll be looking for buys and sells tomorrow. 7:50, 8:39, 30, 11:50, 2:25, 8:05, 8:45, 10:20, 2 o'clock. I'm going to use a 1.5 ATR stop, and my target's going to be the next time. If I get to plus $500, I'm going to go to break even. See you tomorrow. Dear Journal, qualified for a $150,000 account in Apex, waiting for the next 90% sale. We'll buy 19 other accounts. Dear Journal, got my first payout today. You got a choice, but I'm showing you here proof of what these people do. And it happens every day. Every day they're doing it. In every market that you're trading, on every time frame that you're trading. And the cool part is no one believes us. And they make fun of us and they lambast us online and they call me names personally, which tells me I must be close to the truth. After 15 years, nearly 5,000 customers, and an almost perfect Trustpilot rating, I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. I don't care that Fox Business isn't calling me or CNBC. I don't care that I'm not in a conference room with Grant Cardone and Jim Cramer or the rich dad, poor dad guy. I don't care if anyone believes us or not. If you're here today, though, you were supposed to be here. And you have an opportunity to get the software. Well, what does that look like? Well, if you come with me, you go to the website, backtothefuturetrading.com. This handsome guy is not me, but that software that he's looking at is pretty incredible. That I did with my best friend and partner, Ron. Together for the last 15 years, we've built a pretty cool tool. And the program that we've been looking at today is TachEon Warp. It's our flagship product. And if you click on that and wait a second, it's going to take you to the Warp page. And I promise you at one point it'll actually take us to the Warp page. Well, that's cool. Why not? See, the banks found out I was telling you guys about this. Let me try this on another browser and see if it's just a Warp thing. It looks like it's coming up. Hey, if you're Bill Clinton today, did you have a good day, do you think? Yeah, it's just something up with the website. At the very bottom of this page is a buy now link, and there's a promo code that's available. It is WARPF. And if you apply that promo code, no spaces, no capital letters, it's going to take $500 off of the price of the software. This is an indicator for Ninjatrader 8. Ninjatrader works with the data feeds for Rhythmic and Continuum, the programs, Top Step Trader and Apex Investing. You'll be able to do these analyses through NinjaTrader on there. If you have a TD Ameritrade or an eSignal account or a Interactive Brokers account, you can also use the data from that to run the analyses through NinjaTrader as well. 2 computer licenses, lifetime updates. I will warn you though, in the next few weeks or months, those of you that already bought your grandfathered in, we're going to start charging an annual update maintenance fee. So that will cover all of the upgrades that we do year to year. Right now, if you've bought the software, you're getting those for free. My angry accountant says that we need to charge for that. So I didn't go to business school. I didn't know you were supposed to do that. And we're going to have to do it, apparently. So if you want to escape that and get onto the ship with the other grandfathers and get in under that clause, upgrades happen probably every 4 to 6 months. There's a big one coming soon. But if you bought already, you don't have to worry about it. But very shortly here, the price is going to go up. And there are going to be, we haven't had any price increases 10 years with inflation and all that fun stuff. So I'm being told it's time to do that. And I'm being told it's time to charge an annual maintenance fee. But if you buy today, not only do you get a discount, you get that other stuff included for free, including 2 computer licenses. This is transferable. If you're old as dirt and you want to give this to your grandkids upon your death, they will inherit your license and will give them all the fun stuff you were entitled to at the time of your purchase. So I know a few of you are knocking on heaven's door. The great wealth transfer from the boomers to the Gen Xers is happening. And I just wanted you to know that it is a transferable, all of your stuff is transferable here. The big banks don't care about me. The big banks have no interest in me whatsoever. We are very, very, very small. We have 5,000 customers. There are 30 million traders in the US right now. In the US alone, 30 million. If you do the math on that, we are a grain of sand. No one is listening to me. No one is listening to us. And I think I'm okay with that. The people that are supposed to find out about this find out. And hang on. If you just got the program, Sammy, hang on. Go slow. Give yourself some time. Be forgiving. It's going to come. It's going to click. I promise. Take advantage of the resources that you have available. Come to these webinars. Meet with the people that you have the ability to get some training and mentoring with. You can meet with Charlie. You can meet with Dorian. Those are traders, Sammy, with live accounts that are taking signals with Apex and doing their thing. Guys who sat in a webinar like you, that would probably really be a good investment of your time with Charlie or with Dorian. And then maybe swing back and meet with me. But be patient with yourself. You've been doing it the other way for so long. There's 1,000 voices in your head. You got to unlearn what you learned before you can learn something new. And we'll be here. We'll be here. 2024, I think, is going to be a great year. I'm excited. I'm working with some of you one-on-one. We're doing some exciting things. I'm excited for myself personally. We've got a pretty good plan for the year. We have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. This is going to be the weird year. We're coming into the year I've been predicting for years now. If you've been listening to me, this is the one. 24 into 25. Wars, rumors of wars, recessions, all of it is about to happen. All of the pieces are on the chessboard. These guys, I've been following the bank releases and the reviews and the shifts in the assets and the things they're telling us on TV. This is the year. It's going to be a big year, tons of volatility. And I hope you guys can join up with us and take advantage of it and know these times and directions in advance. I think it's going to be great. Thank you so much for your time. Traditionally, I give the benediction. Today is no different. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine upon your faces. May the valleys rise up to meet you. May the mountains lay low before you. I wish you peace, prosperity, health. All of those things that you want and desire for yourself, I am for you. I am on your side. I am not here to screw you over, to make you feel bad, to be an obstacle. You have the full weight of our 15 years of experience doing this with over 5,000 people. Here's to a great 24. Ching ching. And so just in return for that promise, please be patient with yourself, with us. Give yourself the time that it takes to unlearn what you learned and relearn the new thing. And I think you're going to be okay. Have a great day, everybody. I'll be officially out of vacation retirement on Monday next week. The pro room starts up with me. I'm glad if you've signed up to come watch me trade live and work with customers in real live markets. I think it's going to be a great session on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to starting that up with you. Continue to follow us on social media, Twitter X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. This video will be posted to there later tonight, tomorrow morning, along with multiple shorts that are coming out daily. We're also active on a Skype community. There are close to 200 users in there right now that are sharing their trading thoughts, ideas, settings, and systems with one another. Let us know if you'd like to join that group. If you're an existing customer, we're happy to put you in there with your Skype account. Great things are happening, and we've got even more exciting things in the works. Stay tuned and follow along on our social channels. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next week, and happy 2024. Ching! We'll see you soon.